Hello YouTube, this is Matthew Williams, just bringing you an update on the Wikipedia bullshit. Wikipedia have now pulled out all the stops. Sorry, it's a little eucalyptus inhaler. I love my inhaling things. So they've pulled out all the stops now in banning, as I said they would, banning anyone who comes along interested in saying that they support me and the points I made about RAF Rudloe Manor and the unfair behaviour of the Wikipedia admins. And now anyone who brings up the subject is immediately banned, instantaneously, never to edit Wikipedia again. Banned. Just banned. Outright. So this does prove the point. You cannot challenge Wikipedia, because Wikipedia has no interest in your point of view. Wikipedia makes the rules for itself, and the admins enforce them on the users, whether you like it or not. So you don't have a free and democratic Wikipedia that's editable by the users. You have a closed and censored encyclopedia, which is in fact controlled and edited by a bunch of nerds who choose to remain anonymous, which is interesting, isn't it? Because it's like the British police say, if you've got nothing to hide, then you shouldn't mind us knowing your business. But when you're on Wikipedia, you can hide anonymously without revealing who you are, and basically act as an admin and say no, ban, 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 ban to all the people that are on there, and get away with it with impunity and not have to answer to anybody for your actions in unfairly banning the people who edit Wikipedia. So I've been looking into this, and there's a good web page. It's called Wiki Truth.info. So if you go to www.wikitruth.info, it dishes a lot of the dirt on what Wikipedia is about, and it goes into the hypocrisy of things like you can't write about yourself, you can't put your own web pages up there and write about yourself. The head of Wikipedia, Davis, I think his name is, or Jimmy Wales or whatever his name is. Anyway, he was actually quoted as saying you shouldn't write about your own biography on Wikipedia, and then went editing his own biography on Wikipedia. Boom, boom. So what is good for the goose is not good for the gander. And yes, basically, if you go on there, it's talking a lot about the censorship that goes on, and a lot of articles which, are just off the limits of what you can actually write about on Wikipedia, because these have been decided upon by Wikipedia that these are going to be a certain way, even if the Wikipedia users deem that it should be talked about, that they are going to either censor it, delete it, ban it, whatever. And WikiTruth.info actually has a list of some of the popular articles that have been censored and banned on their uncensored page. Also, it does go into on WikiTruth a lot about these admins, which are known as God Kings. Okay, because they basically, it says there's 100 little self-appointed God Kings blocking and deleting material that is perfectly reasonable to have on a website, especially one like Wikipedia. So this only goes to talk about exactly what I've been saying, and that Wiki is not interested in a fair and open input from the users, because you do have some rather unusual people at the top who are going to make decisions about what can and cannot be on Wikipedia, whether you like it or not. So things like RAF Rudloe Manor, I'm going through the tiers of adminhood, and when you start questioning what the admins are doing and why this might be wrong, you've created a faux pas. You will get banned immediately for questioning the admins. So you can't question why Wiki is the way it is. It's also they make a point on you saying that Wiki is not a democracy. That it is not there to openly and democratically discuss what you want from it and what should be on it. It does what it wants, and you are irrelevant. So this whole business about Wiki being the place that you can edit and have an input in is kind of funny, isn't it? So head on over there. You'll see some interesting stuff, and you'll hear about some of the admins and some of their shenanigans, including, you know, some of the people who run Wikipedia being criminals and their criminal backgrounds, and, you know, perhaps with these things, when there's shit at the top, it will just trickle all the way down. And I never realised that Wiki was actually created by this Jimmy Wales, who before starting Wikipedia actually had a pornography search engine where you could search porn, specifically porn, pictures of porn, by typing in what you were looking for, and it would go and find a suitable pornographic picture. I mean, it's just interesting, isn't it, that somebody that starts a porn search engine would then go on to create a admin crazed nightmare such as Wikipedia, where you and I don't have much of a say. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The chief operating officer of Wikimedia was a convicted felon, i.e. the person doing Wiki's accounts was a felon. And considering Wikipedia is supposed to be an organisation made up by its users presenting information, it does take money which goes towards its founders and its CEO, who live in mansions and have lots of boats and very expensive cars. So it's interesting that you know, you're expected to supply the work and the effort that goes into Wikipedia so that these people can become rich free of charge, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? And then be told why you don't have any democratic input into the process of what you're actually submitting. So yeah, head across to there's a guy called Joe Slag. Oh God, this is going to be a JoeSzilAGyi.com. But if you head across to his site, he's got lots of stuff on Wikipedia. I don't think this guy likes Wikipedia at all. So it is interesting. You know, I've asked repeatedly for the user Milborn1 to explain to me. It's quite a simple explanation. Why do you tell me that I must be WP civil, which means Wikipedia civil, i.e. behave in a civil manner, when an admin calls me as a UFO researcher and he says UFO researchers are nutters and idiots, which is defamatory, derogatory, rude, yes, which comes under the auspices of WP civil. But Milborn1 refuses, point blank, refuses to point out to user ALR that he was being rude. But I am to be told I was being rude in about 70 different ways, but user ALR is not to be told that they were being rude by using comments like "you're a nutter" and "you're an idiot." So that's perfectly okay to do. An admin can call you a nutter and an idiot on Wikipedia, but you cannot speak back in any way, shape or form of a similar nature. You're not allowed to do it. So user Milborn1 refuses to answer the point of why he would do that and say that to me, but not say it to user ALR. Interesting. And all attempts that have been made by myself and others to repost the question saying, come on Milborn1, why didn't you ask user ALR, why didn't you sort of ask him why he was being rude and whether he should stop it, and why did you make the same comments that user Truth Seekers was being rude? Why one rule for one and one rule for another? And Milborn1 refuses to comment, and anybody who brings up the point is instantly banned on Wiki. So, just for your information.